Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of the New York International Auto Show 2017. It is amazing here. I got to thank Chris Sams from Sam's Crisp Communications. These guys are phenomenal, and they've had us here for 3 years now. They see the vision. They love BeTerrific, and they've been doing the auto show as long as I've been covering it, since 1998, and I'm sure longer. Just a great organization and great people. So got to thank them. Got to thank the New York International Auto Show. Got to thank you the Terrifics who make BeTerrific special, make this worth doing. This is why we do it. At BeTerrific TV on all social media. You can go to Snapchat now and see some of the snaps I've done with spectacles. Those are the glasses you wear on your face, and you point them as a point of view pair of glasses. So I've done some yesterday and some today. I got to get better at doing the 10-second clips that they kind of put together, and I got to get better at doing 10-second clips. Obviously, I don't talk that short usually. It'd be interesting if I only did 10 seconds on air for everything. This is the new Buick. This is the new Infiniti. Anyway, moving on. At BeTerrific TV on all social media. Want to join our Slack chat? It is simple. Connect at BeTerrific.com. Send us an email with your name and your email address, and we will send you an invitation to join our Slack chat. Real-time, 24-hour communication with us, you, and the rest of the Terrifics. Is a chat room. It's easy to use. It's free, and it's a lot of fun. Oh, my God. Our next guest is Stuart. He's from Buick. He's been in the General Motors family a long time, and there's a lot happening at Buick. I can't wait to get into it. So, first off, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. Second, you guys have made a wagon.
We have made a wagon. Actually, we've made 4 new cars just in the past week alone.
I want to talk about every one of them, but I'm really impressed with the wagon. Have you guys had I mean, I think in the 50s you guys might have had, or 60s you might have had a wagon, but I don't think you've had a wagon in a long time. Is that correct?
It's actually been since the 90s, so it's been
there was
a little over
wagon
20
in the
years
90s?
with the Roadmaster, yeah.
Wow.
So this is a very different type of wagon. I think when you think Buick wagon, you think a big boat, and we're a different kind of brand today. We're much more progressive, modern thinking. So this is a bit smaller wagon, 2-liter turbo engine under the hood, 9-speed automatic transmission, really great new all-wheel drive system called Intelligent All-Wheel Drive. It's an awesome car.
This is everything you know about Buick today, not from yesterday, but from today. All the features, all the creature comforts, all the power. The 9-speed automatic transmission is ridiculous. All of these components, but in a wagon.
Exactly.
Why are wagons making such a comeback?
You know what wagons bring is they're really, if you think of the word crossover being thrown around a lot today, a wagon is really a crossover in the truest sense of what a crossover means. It's the ride and handling of a car that you want, but you get all that versatility of an SUV in the same package. It's
lower to the ground, it handles better, and it's probably in most cases even better looking. And so maybe even more affordable, maybe not, but it certainly is something that families can use. And I think you're right. I think when you make a wagon like a car, you give it power like you've done, you give it a good transmission, good handling, you give it the creature comforts. It's no longer the station wagon you made in the old days. It's now really a car with extra room and a different layout for the trunk.
Exactly, and this is going to be a really fun car to drive. Now that crossovers do exist, this isn't really a family car anymore. Wagons today are really more for adventurous people who want to throw a kayak on top. When you think of an SUV, it's a little bit taller, harder to get things up on the roof rack. And when you have something like our new Regal Tour X, it's really easy to get your bike up there, get a kayak up on top, and go hit the trail, hit the river, wherever you may be going.
See, that's the thing. That's the reason why I think wagons and SUVs and crossovers have become so popular. It's the fastest growing car segment, right?
Yeah.
Is because it's easier to load and unload equipment, gear, shopping, all sorts of stuff. And now you're talking about, as people are trying to live better lifestyles, right? You're trying to have kind of balance work and play. It gives you that ability, and now you can do that in a car.
Exactly. It's you can have it all.
Right. You can have it all. So that's one of 4 new cars. So that now we have 3 left to talk about that you guys have unveiled here at the New York International Auto Show. And what I love about the New York International Auto Show, while it's late in the season for you guys, it's early for us. It's right before where the car buying season picks up its most amount of steam. And in addition, it's where most amount of cars debut of any show in North America.
And we've done our part with that with 4 of them here. So the second one is the Regal Sportback. So from the front half forward, looks the same as our Regal Tour X, but instead in the back it looks almost like a coupe with 4 doors, but then has a lift back to it. So
that makes it a 5-door.
It is a 5-door.
And are you calling it a 5-door coupe?
We're actually calling it a sedan. Because it does have 4 passenger doors to it. When you approach it, you think that looks like a sedan to me. So that's how we're messaging it. We think that's what people in that segment are primarily looking for. And where we live in the Buick, in the premium space, we think this is going to market to someone who has an SUV in the garage next to it. They're not buying something like a Regal Sportback just because it has that versatility, but it's a great feature that, hey, I want a sedan, but if I find a big antique trunk while I'm out driving around, I know I can fit it in the back because I have more flexibility than just a trunk.
I like how you went from kayaking and biking to throwing an antique trunk in the back.
You can put just about anything in a Buick these days.
It seems like it. I want nothing to do with an antique trunk, though. I want you to know,
I think the Tour X is for you then. You sounded way more excited about the kayak.
Yeah. Well, maybe the bike. I don't know. Maybe the kayak.
You could put a bike in the Sportback, too. The back seats fold down. With a normal trunk, you probably have to take the wheels off and flex it around.
Yeah.
Sportback, you just toss it right in there and go.
I love the idea of just tossing things right in. I really do.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. And so then that's 2 vehicles down. But you have
halfway
not unveiled 1 vehicle here. You've not unveiled 2 vehicles. You've unveiled 4 vehicles. Last year, you guys unveiled a convertible here, which was spectacular.
Yep, so the Cascada, which we unveiled last year, remarkably is now the oldest car in our entire lineup. So we've been on quite a roll in the past year with 7 new products. The Cascada, LaCrosse is our big sedan. The Encore, our most successful car, great car for here in New York City, really small and maneuverable. The Envision, our compact SUV. The 2 Regals, and now 2 Enclaves as well, which we unveiled just a couple days ago here in New York.
So tell me the difference between the 2 Enclaves, has that been your most popular vehicle in the last few years, the Enclave?
The Encore has actually been our most popular vehicle. It's kind of like take the successful formula of the Enclave, make it smaller. It's really helped us in cities and urban areas to grow.
That's the one where the commercial where the girl who goes like, that's not a Buick, something like that?
Exactly. Yeah. So the Encore has been about 40% of our sales. Huge success for us. The Enclave has really been the cornerstone of the Buick lineup for about 9 years now. It's been a car that, when you launch a car and it has a life cycle of 5, 6, 7 years, it peaks at a point and then falls off. The Enclave has been a pretty amazing car for us that it never really fell off. It just kept growing and growing and growing. And now we have a new one here at New York.
What's the new one look like? What are the features?
New one is a little bit bigger, although the design team did an incredible job with this car. It looks a bit smaller than it used to. So 7 passengers, way more legroom than all of the competition in the 3rd row. We really pride ourselves on comfort for every passenger. Quietness has been a huge talking point for the Enclave for its whole life. The new one has some really cool tech in it. So it has a rear view mirror that actually turns into a camera. So if you have people in the 2 rows behind you, they kind of obstruct your view of the road behind, so you can flip a little switch and all of the people behind you disappear and you just see the road.
That's excellent. I really like that idea. I think it's important. I don't know why we aren't driving with rear view cameras all the time, like what you're saying, what you're describing. I don't know why we have mirrors still. Like, why do I need to see the people in the back or the gear that I am lugging?
Well, if you're a father, you can look at your kids and give them a...
Well, I like that idea, by the way, but I'm just saying, and I am a father, I like that idea, but I also like the idea of, more importantly, being able to see the road.
Seeing what's coming behind. And this gives you the option of both.
Now, Buick, I think, is a company that I believe stands for luxury and affordability, so I think it's affordable luxury. How does Buick see itself?
We see ourselves the same way. The word we use most often is attainable luxury. And just yesterday, we were awarded for the 5th time in a row KBB's Best Value Luxury brand. So that's a perfect proof point to exactly what you're saying here. It's attainable luxury. It's all of the things that you want in a more expensive car at a more reasonable price, but it's when you're upgrading from a mainstream brand like Nissan behind us or Toyota or Honda, you're upgrading because you're getting something with it. It's not just because you're buying a luxury badge. So you're getting improved quietness, improved refinement, features that you can't get on a mainstream car. So we think it's a great place and a place we really kind of have to ourselves in the industry.
Yeah, it seems like you really do, and I think Buick's always been there. That's where Buick has fallen, and I think it's smart. It's always been smart at GM to position it that way, right? Chevrolet mirrors closely with Cadillac, but Cadillac is an ultra-luxury brand with an ultra-luxury price tag, and Buick kind of falls in between those two, right? It's a very, as you said, it's a luxurious brand, but it's attainable, and I just think GM has always been smart about where to place the different brands and to make sure those brands maintain their identity.
Sure, and that's the important part, is that we maintain our identity. We have, if you look at some of the competition in our premium space, a lot of them do want to reach up higher and get into the luxury space or reach down a little lower, and we're very comfortable with where we are and have a great customer base in there.
Very cool. If I had to guess, I would say Buick started about 35,000 and they go up to probably about 75,000, somewhere in that range.
A little lower than that. So the Buick Encore, our most successful product, starts just under 25,000.
What?
$199 a month leases.
Are you serious?
Come about time to time. So if you look at a Honda HR-V or a Nissan Juke in that segment, it's not a big step up to really get a much nicer vehicle in our point of view.
Right.
So the Encore starts right there at 25. The Cascada convertible is about 34,000, so less expensive than an Audi A3 convertible, for example, but with the space of an Audi A5. And then the new Enclave, which we just added an Avenir model to it, so that's our new luxury sub-brand. That creeps us up a little higher into the luxury space. We haven't announced pricing yet, but you're looking at 50 to 60,000 with everything on board.
I like that you just said it's the size of an A5, because I never understood why a company makes a smaller, feels that they have to make the car smaller to make them more affordable, because the reality is, what are we talking about? It's not based on space. I mean, sure, it's a couple more inches of sheet metal, but I mean, and maybe a couple more inches of leather, but the reality is you don't jump 10 grand to do that. and so like you look at, like an A3 is too small, but maybe you want, the A5 convertible, but why does it have to be so expensive just because it's bigger? So I think that you bring up a good point there, and I like the idea of having a bigger car that's more comfortable in the price range that's lower.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we want to live.
Yeah, very cool. How long have you been at Buick?
2 years now.
How did you get there?
I've been through a couple different jobs within General Motors. It's actually my second round through Buick. But I spent a lot of time working in our connectivity space, which is incredibly exciting right now. So had an opportunity to roll out 4G LTE Wi-Fi across all of our brands, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But I really grew up as a Buick guy. My grandpa restored old Buick, so I grew up around the brand, so it's really kind of a dream job to be there.
That's very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've always been interested in cars?
Yeah, whole life. I haven't had a job unrelated to cars since I was 15 years old.
You're from Detroit?
Yep.
And did your grandfather, he restored Buicks, did he let you help him at all?
Oh yeah, I've been
hand me
wrenching,
the wrench?
wrenching since I could hold a wrench. Yep.
We did at the Greenwich Concourse d'Elegance about 2 years ago. I don't know if you know this show. It's an amazing auto show in Greenwich, Connecticut. If you want to see old cars, right? It's really the best show on the East Coast. And a few years ago, they added an American Day, so that it's just American cars for a day. And prior to that, it was all European cars. So now you have imports on day 2, and on day 1, it's all American cars. And we saw the most beautiful Buick. I think it was like I want to say it's like a 72 or 73 Skyline.
Okay.
Now, does it sound familiar?
Skylark, probably.
Yeah. I don't think it was a Skylark. I think it was a Skyline. They only made like 300 of these cars.
Probably.
I could be wrong.
Skyline was a Nissan name.
Well, Skyline's a Nissan name in the 90s, but this was like in the 70s. Maybe it was a Skylark. Anyway.
Probably thinking of the Skylark GSX if it was a limited run. Was it yellow or?
It was bright yellow.
Yep, so that was the GSX. So that was that fun fact about that car, it had the most torque of any American car
Yeah.
and held that title for 30 years until the Viper came along.
Wow.
And disrupted it. So you don't think that about a Buick. But
No, absolutely
we
not.
held that title, and then later the Grand National and the GNX,
Sure.
we had a car that was faster 0 to 60 than Corvette 911 Turbo at the time.
Yeah, the Grand National was unbelievable, and so anyway, this guy Phil owned the car, great guy, and we did this story with him, and he actually keeps in touch with BeTerrific, but it's beautiful. I have to get you a copy of this. Just a great video, a lot of fun, and I say that because you're into old Buicks, so I'll get you this video. And but I'm glad you knew it. You knew it immediately, and it's impossible to know every car, every brand, every model ever made. But yeah, so it was a Skylark GSX.
Yep.
Oh, it's a beautiful car. Wait till you see this. And he has low mileage on it.
Cool.
It was pretty unbelievable. Yeah.
The brand has an incredible heritage. We've been around for almost 115 years now. Great moments through time. We're racing race cars before the Indy 500 even existed. But we're in a much different spot today. We're very consumer focused. We want to make sure we have the right cars for the right audience today, and we think we have that.
Excellent. You definitely do, and I appreciate you coming on, and thanks for giving us connectivity in the cars, or better connectivity. I know it's just the first generation. It's coming, CarPlay and Android Auto. They're going to tweak it. It's going to get better.
It'll keep growing, but it's off to a great start.
It absolutely is. Thank you. That's Stuart. I'm Michael, and you're the Terrifics. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this, live from the New York International Auto Show at the Jacob K. Javits Center in New York City. Stay with us.